Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we are going to be looking at VeChain against its Bitcoin pairing as well as the US dollar. Remember, if you do like this video and the other videos that I make on this channel, be sure to hit the like button down below and also consider subscribing. VeChain isn't a coin that I've covered yet on this channel, but it is a fairly interesting coin. I would somewhat attribute it to something like of a chart pattern of like Cardano. Now, I'm not comparing the two projects per se. I'm just comparing their Bitcoin price evaluations. Currently, right now, it's at 70 sats. It did come off a high of 237 sats. It's bled from the wick quite considerably to where we are right now, 70%. Not good, but considering where we are now in the market cycle, you can argue that this is a fairly good buy with Bitcoin. Okay, I'll get to some concerns that I have later on in the video. And so, what do I mean by something like it has a chart pattern of Cardano, for example? Well, we see that there's consistent lows, right? We saw this low here at a roughly 44 sats, 30 sats, give or take, um, and we skyrocketed. But now when we came back, the good thing is we haven't gone as low as 44 sats. Matter of fact, the low is roughly 62 sats, with wicks down to about 50 sats. And this is what I'm talking about. This kind of idea of two-step forward and one step back kind of mentality. This is something that's fairly interesting, and something that is good for building momentum. We're not back at the lows. We haven't made any lower lows, per se. And here we are maintaining this trading channel here. You can argue that this is another accumulation of VeChain against Bitcoin. Will we see another top here? I would argue, yeah, considering the circumstances. With Bitcoin up at $40,000, if you can argue this, or if you believe in it, if alt season's already underway, then by all means, expect VeChain to recover, and that's something that I would argue as well. But just comparing both Cardano and VeChain here, we see that happening. We see that there was a low prior to the move, roughly drawing that low prior to the move. We came back down. We didn't go as low as here, and we are now at at the lows of 600 sats, and we're oscillating after the local peak. And so that's kind of the same kind of perspective I have on VeChain. And on both coins, I do expect it to move higher. One problem though, when we look at the US dollar, we are at uh, you know 2.7 cents per VeChain. We are technically at all-time highs of the dollar valuation against VeChain. Now, uh, I'm not going to say that this is the top or anything, but because of that, risk is obviously a lot higher than it was a few weeks ago or a few months ago, back in November, where you can get it at a penny. And so that's something that it needs to be taken into consideration. And it's the same thing with Cardano. Cardano's at what's Cardano at? Cardano's at 30 cents, right? It's not at all-time highs, obviously, but we're considerably higher in risk. So although buying with Bitcoin, that the risk is relatively low, and which is true, but also keep in mind the US dollar valuation as this is considerably high. However, if the Bitcoin if VeChain manages to start outpacing Bitcoin, then obviously I would expect the US dollar to go up. But if Bitcoin decides to dump or make a run for it, then this Bitcoin valuation will continue to bleed, which wouldn't necessarily affect the US dollar pairing, but you're definitely starting to be outpaced by Bitcoin. And at that point, why hold VeChain? Hold Bitcoin. Anyway, that's just a brief look at VeChain. Expect it to hold consistently at 63 sats, roughly, give or take a few sats. And if we start seeing Ethereum start to move or consistently continue this trend, like what we're seeing now, expect VeChain to do something similar. Uh, if our largest altcoin in Ethereum gains the momentum, altcoins on the whole will follow, including VeChain. Then at that point, most likely VeChain will start to outpace Ethereum and start to outpace Bitcoin for that period. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.